Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. My co-host is back, Mr. Abraziz. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just want to let everyone who's viewing this know that it's been an upsetting day for my host here, Musti. Terrible loss for Sunrisers, and followed up with an absolute bashing from an ordinary Tottenham side for United. So I'm sorry about that. I hope you're doing okay.
Man, this was one of the toughest Sundays. I was so excited that sports is back, but now I'm gonna divert to Big Boss. I'm gonna be watching that now.
Bhai's in the house.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a very poor day, just to say the least.
Absolutely. Yeah, just that. Yeah, you can go ahead with
Oh
the
yeah, I forgot
podcast
I'm
now.
hosting. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, starting off, Sunrisers against Mumbai Indians. Mumbai getting 208. I felt, to be honest, I don't know how you felt. I felt it was still a chaseable score. I actually thought Sunrise would be favorites, despite whatever the batting issues, the top order, middle order, whatever you say.
Yeah.
In Sharjah, you fancy the chasing side 208. Yes, Krunal Pandya, I think, turned the game a bit into Mumbai's favor, but with 20 runs of 4 balls. But I still feel that Sunrisers had the chance, and they started off very well with the Bairstow, and then he got out, and Warner and Manish Pandey continued. But then just they couldn't hit the sixes and the fours, man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Was suddenly the batting just looked like it was an Abu Dhabi pitch. It just looks suddenly just completely. I mean, expect 70 of 30 in a Sharjah pitch with the way the tournament has gone over the past 2 weeks. Batting side any day of the week, right? It was just so surprising that they just couldn't get off. They just couldn't get off the blocks, and Warner was woefully out of form. It was just so unfortunate. I mean, yes, he scored 70 runs, but he was out of form like significantly. I mean, it just showed every time he was just trying too hard. He was missing. He was hitting. He was just hitting the fielder straight up. It was just one of those days when it's just not your day. I mean, it was like that for Warner. And in general, I think Bairstow started us off, like you said, very very quickly, and really quickly off the blocks. I think he had a couple of sixes, a boundary in the first 3 overs. I think 34 no loss in the first 3 overs, and you're like, okay, fine. You know what? They got this, and yes, I think 208 in a Sharjah pitch was gettable, no doubt about that. If they were in the game till I think the 13th, 14th over
Yes,
almost.
definitely.
I think they were not far from the run rate. They were a couple, maybe like it was like 11 12 in a Sharjah pitch is still very very easy. It just, I don't know, man. It's just something for them to really think about. I think a couple of games that they were starting to win were on those Abu Dhabi tracks, but I think for Sunrisers, I think the Abu Dhabi and the Dubai pitches are more suited because they thrive on those kind of pitches. It's just unfortunate that they were not able to do anything today with that kind of run chase, and they, in the end, it just looked like a one-sided game. They lost by like 30 plus runs, which is almost unacceptable.
But how much credit would you give to the Mumbai bowlers? Because like I understand, like they don't have hitters and stuff. I mean, but we saw that Rahul Tewatia hit 5 6s. Nothing taking away from him, but
Yeah.
we saw Rahul Tripathi also do it yesterday
Yeah.
with Owen Morgan.
Yeah.
So like batsmen can do it, and it's not like, I mean, Sunrisers do have that quality batting. They can hit it. So would you credit the Mumbai bowlers as well, the way they bowled, especially Bolton Patterson, or would you just say it's bad batting?
So I don't think that the bowlers were out of this world. They were exceptional or anything. I mean, yes, the bowlers were doing well. I'm not. They did a decent job, no doubt about it. I mean, the experience in bowling in Sharjah a couple of times before has helped Mumbai for sure, but they weren't immense. Like they weren't like, oh, every single ball was a yorker, and they're just not able to get out of the blocks. I think it was a little bit more okay, decent bowling from Mumbai, but bad batting from the Sunrisers was the issue. I honestly thought. Definitely, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from these Mumbai bowlers. They to restrict a team to 170 on a Sharjah pitch is immense, no doubt about that. But a lot of that had to do with the fact that Sunrisers themselves couldn't really make the most of the situation. They should have gone on and at least gotten. They should have lost by 10 runs. I'd not be surprised. I mean, okay, you know what? Sometimes these things happen. You lose by 8 10 runs,
That'd be
but
more
this was.
painful though.
It would have been a little bit more painful, but at least like at least they gave it a shot. This was like after the 16th, 17th over, it just did they hit 4 runs of the 18th over. I mean, come on, on a
Yeah,
Sharjah
it's
pitch,
strange. Yeah, it's strange because
unacceptable.
you actually 80 or 40 balls, you back the backing team.
It was 70 of 30. I remember this because I remember it clearly. 70 of 30, 5 overs, 70 runs. Almost any day of the week, you get that, man. You get
in
that any day of
Sharjah.
the week. In
Yeah,
Sharjah, you get it. People have hit 90, 95 runs. I mean, yes, okay. Those people are learning. Bowlers are also learning from this, from them, and trying to bowl a little bit more skillfully, a little bit better.
yeah.
No doubt about that. But I don't think I don't think anything. It has to the blame. The Risers have to take the batting. The batting team has to take the blame for that loss. Manish Pandey and Johnny Bairstow, I think they were both in fine touch. They got out at the wrong time. Kane Williamson had a very soft dismissal. Warner was out of form, and there was no heroics from Garg, Sharma or some other, unfortunately today. So it didn't
Yeah.
work out today.
Yeah, so and no Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Yeah,
Siddharth Kaul got smashed for 64 runs in his four
yeah.
overs, but you would still feel that it was a decent job considering the ground, considering the opposition. 208, the bowlers did a decent job if you take out Kaul's figures, and that was expected because Bhuvi is a big player to replace,
Yeah.
and we were expecting this.
Yeah, I'm a little bit upset with the Colts' performance. Honestly, like I mean, he's a better bowler than that. It's unfair that he got whacked for the 64 runs in his four overs. It's a little bit sad. Uh, Honestly, he bowled a very beautiful ball to Hardik Pandya to get him out. Right after that, you just want to try and continue to just keep trying to york them.
Yeah, because
Last over
one
of the
they could have easily restricted them 180.
even if it was below 200, that psychological edge would have been an
Yeah, like
important factor.
190, 195.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and it was four balls left, 188 is your score. You give him 20 runs in the last four balls. Just try to york him, man. I mean, if you miss the yorker and if it goes for four inside edge, all this kind of stuff, that's okay. But I think two of those four balls were short and in the slot, and he was able to like really slam it out. And this guy's a new batsman. You can't. It just felt a little bit that they kind of lost the momentum a little bit over there, and then Bairstow going early kind of really hampered them. But Manish Pandey came in, started scoring a couple of boundaries. He had a nice little big six of Rahul Chahar as well. So they were in this game for a long time, but they just fell apart really quickly. I think it was an unfortunate game. Just really do some thinking on this batting unit. Go back to the drawing board, but get over this quickly because these games come thick and fast, and they go back to I think Abu Dhabi or Dubai next. I'm not sure 100%, but those are the kind of pitches that will so they it's just a one-off. They can let it go, and then they don't go back to Sharjah. Sunrisers don't go back to Sharjah till the end of the tournament, where they play two games in a row against Mumbai again, and then Bangalore to finish it off. So I think they just have to work on getting the next few games in their pocket so that they can not worry about those last two games because Sharjah is not suiting them.
Yeah.
So
And just a touch on Mumbai, they'll be really happy with Gurneet de Kock coming back to form. His innings will give them a lot of boost
absolutely, absolutely.
because he's been terrible form. And the middle order looks in red hot form, like Pandya, Pollard, and now even Krunal Pandya
Yeah,
getting into
yeah.
the action. So right now that middle order looks devastating, especially if you're playing in Sharjah. But even then, they have the middle order to smash it in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So
Yeah.
that middle order actually looks like a proper T20 middle order.
Absolutely. I mean, these two Pandya brothers and Pollard, these three are they act like brothers in real life. The Indian brothers, as Pollard calls them. So these guys are immense. I mean, I don't think there's anyone who has a better middle order. Maybe a Kolkata comes a close second with Russell and Morgan, but that's about it. I mean, nobody else can bank on that kind of firepower and that kind of immense quality in at 5, 6, and 7. That's just unmatchable, and it comes to the party every single game. I mean, you kind of have a little bit of inconsistency with Surya Kumar Yadav. You have a hit or miss with Ishan Kishan here and there, and one of your two openers sometimes performs, sometimes doesn't. But these three are a mainstay. I mean, they if not with the bat, Krunal even in the last game did a decent job with the ball. Today with the bat and the ball, so he's been very good as well. And in general, this Mumbai team is very solid. They look I think the most balanced side almost at this point in terms of having decent options with the bat and with the ball. They have about 6-7 bowling options, 6-7 batting options. That really helps this team for sure.
Yeah, definitely some very valid points there. And I think that wraps up this game. Your player of the game for you?
It has to be Krunal. I think with bat and ball, I think he really took the game away.
Yeah, that those last four balls.
Yeah. Even though it was just 20 runs, I mean, there were better. I mean, Quinton de Kock had a very good innings, but I just feel like he just shifted the momentum slightly, ever so slightly, and then even though he didn't take a wicket, I don't think today, or he did take one,
He took
but
one wicket,
he
yeah,
took one
and like
wicket.
his economy was 8.5, which is
Yeah.
perfect in Sharjah.
Yeah, so he kind of really he made he made Warner really mad by bowling those wide
Yeah,
right near the line kind of balls, and then
smart bowling.
very smart bowling. That's what I'm saying. He really got on his nerve, and then Warner just went for Warner was struggling today. It
Yeah,
was just not used to seeing Warner struggle like that. On a
yeah.
Sharjah pitch, you expect more from him.
Yeah, definitely. I think that wraps up that game. And Very depressing for me, but for you, a good day. Arsenal won, and
Yeah.
you thought I was going to say
I know.
something
Yeah.
else.
I was like, oh my god.
Arsenal won, and then
But
moving
yeah,
on to the next game.
yeah,
I'm not saying anything, but Chennai is back in form, man. 10 wicket win. This IPL is going to be really close. Like I was tipping Punjab to win this game.
yeah.
Started off
Yeah,
well. I don't know. It was a very weird game for me because I felt that it wasn't an easy pitch to bat on. It was a bit slow because the way Rahul and Mayank Agarwal started, they were very cautious.
yeah.
But they made and then Rahul got going with the
178.
crisp run. They both got going. I thought 200s on the cards, but then Chennai pulled it back.
Yeah,
170 to 178. I still thought that with that Chennai top order, I think Punjab were favorites, but Watson and Faf, they do what. I mean, it's credit to the management and Dhoni for backing by them. I don't think anyone else would,
yeah,
especially Watson. I don't think
yeah.
anyone would have backed him, but they an unbeaten partnership, and they won the game with 10 wickets.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the kind of this is the lethal Chennai we've seen over the past 10, 12 seasons. This is the 13th season, and this is what we've come to know of Chennai. Be absolutely we like this kind of a performance is what we have come to expect from Chennai, and it was missing this season, and we were like 2020 does weird things to you. So maybe that's what it was, but then Chennai is back and back with a bang. I mean, this is the kind of performance that will give them so much confidence. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
this is
manner of the win, like
yeah,
if
exactly.
they won, like but like the way 10 wickets, 181 run partnership.
And they won it with 2 overs to spare. This is like a 220. This is like almost a Sharjah kind of kind of a innings, like, and it seemed a lot difficult. I'm no doubt
Yeah,
about that. It seemed a lot difficult for when Punjab was playing. But these guys, 83 or 53 for Shane Watson. Faf had 87 or 53. They just made it look so simple. 11 boundaries for each of them, 3 sixes for Watson, one for Faf. I mean, uh, it's just like Punjab played on Abu Dhabi, but Chennai went to Sharjah and finished this game off
yeah.
pretty much. So, and Sunrise on the other hand made it look like Abu Dhabi pitch. So it was a lot of things went on today, but credit to Chennai, man. Like you said, credit to Chennai to keep going with Shane Watson. Absolute masterstroke by him. Almost
But
every other
how?
team would
Like
have.
I would never think like he was in terrible form,
Yeah,
terrible form.
I think almost every other team would have had a very very hard time to continue with him. No doubt about that. But yeah, I mean that's why Dhoni is Dhoni. He understands these things. It's just so immense. I mean, it's great. It's great to see. And I'm very happy with the way Chennai is back. And it just for the sake of the tournament, this
What
really
did you
keeps it
just say?
open.
Can you say it again, please, for
No, I
our
just said
audience?
for the sake of the tournament, I don't want any team to really get back too much. Now Punjab's one team, but
I can't
I
believe you
just
said that.
I'm happy because I just want the tournament to be up and running. Like I want 7 or 8 teams to be fighting for that top four. I'm not against that kind of a competition. With Sunrisers losing, you want one of the lower teams to get a couple of points so that the top teams don't run away with it. That's the thing. Tomorrow Delhi's playing Bangalore. One team's going to hit to 8 points, which is I don't want anyone to run away with it.
But
Every time we see
Punjab
one or
were also a low team though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like at least it's 7 teams now, that are fighting, and then Punjab wins the next 2 or 3. Suddenly they're also in the reckoning. That's what I'm saying. So it's just a matter of keeping this very tight. I'm a diehard Sunrisers fan. I mean, you make you make whatever fun you want to make off of me, but uh, it's just fun to see this tournament alive and kicking. No team is really out of there yet. No team is run away with it yet, and that's just nice. We are almost 1/3 into the tournament right now. I think everyone's played 4 or 5 games, so it's just I think 5. So that's almost a little more than 1/3. So we're getting ready to get into the second part of this tournament, and almost everyone is still in with a chance to make the top four, which is nice to see. So
But for Punjab, how heartbreaking is it because they played three outstanding games?
yeah,
No, two. Let's say two outstanding games
yeah,
that they should have won, and then this kind of loss, like, won't it deflate aside? Like, they actually probably started off as like the team to watch. Everyone
yeah,
wanted to watch Punjab play, and now they're tapering off. Yes, like you said, they can win a couple of games and turn it back around, but like ideally they would want like 2 or 3 wins. Like any team would want that, but just the way they've been playing, I don't think they feel like. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but they'll be really disappointed with where they are right now, where they're placed.
I agree, and it is demoralizing for a young team like that, young captain. Um, it, and this is a team that has been changing their think tank a lot, along with Bangalore, the only other team that keeps changing their coaches, their managers, their captains, and stuff like that. So
Even more than
it's
Bangalore,
just
because Bangalore don't really change their captain, but
yeah.
like yeah, you're right. Like they change everything, like
Yeah,
all the
always,
time.
all the time. I mean, last
Yeah,
2 years back it was Sevak. Last year it was someone
yeah.
else. Today, this year it's Kumble. And then last year your captains Ashwin. This year it's KL Rahul. A lot of chopping and changing, and that doesn't really do well to like this team's morale is usually down. Honestly, after that first couple of games, I thought that this team has what it takes, but I did back them to finish eighth in my previews, but
Yeah,
it does look like it's coming true.
but what
But
is going wrong? Do you think? Like, of course, the death polling is an issue.
yeah,
Again, we saw like I mean, they got in Jordan and he got smashed as well. They'll have to try Mujib at some point in this tournament. But overall, there's still a really good side. So, like, is it the a mix of bowling, inexperienced captaincy? Would you blame Rahul a bit in terms of captaincy? The batting, yes, those two openers are on fire, but then the middle order, are they giving the help? Like, what will you put this down to?
it's so hard to say because this is a strong team, like you said. It's just so hard to say what's going wrong. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, four teams make it, four teams don't, and I think that a little bit of that has to do with this. But today was it's just such a demoralizing victory today to be beaten like that. I mean, out of the four games that they played before this, three were really close games. They were just outbeaten in one game, but this is another one that they really got. It was just a one-sided game, so these are kind of losses that are going to really affect their morale as a team. I think a lot will depend on how Kumble can pick them up from here and really take them to the next stage, because they need to quickly fix their issues. A couple of things that they need to think about: the death bowling, yes, definitely a little bit more pressure on the middle order. Although today I thought that they did a decent job. Mandeep Singh coming in a little bit earlier made sense. Nicholas Puran looking top hot form. He's just not able to convert. Maxwell needs to go. Maxwell needs to go, or he needs to sit in the bench, because that's not really going to help them right now.
Or would you
At
do a Chennai and back him?
huh?
Would you do like a Chennai and back him
I
like
think
they
so.
back
I
to
think so.
Watson?
They have to, and he has the capability. Like he needs one big innings and he can really turn it around. But he needs to realize that they're giving him that. I think Watson realized that today, and you can see that he was in hot form. I mean, he took a little bit of time when Faf was playing a little bit earlier, but I think right after that he went all guns
Yeah,
blazing.
I
So,
think you're right. The Maxwell did struggle in the end. They could have easily got 190, 200.
and Sarfraz too. Though
And
both of
Sarfraz,
them should have got that total up to 200.
yeah, they struggled in the so the death batting is an issue. I think you said that also before. They don't
Yeah,
have like they have Maxwell, but they don't have a finisher, and Maxwell needs to play that role.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that point is there. But also KL Rahul, I just want to ask about his captaincy. I don't know what you think about this, but do you think teams like this, Delhi, the coaches run it a bit more than the captain? And do you think like it can be an issue? Like, yes, I mean, Delhi are winning right now, but you could see that Ponting does make calls, and over here, you can see probably Kumble is making more of the calls because the captain's a bit inexperienced, and does that. And whereas a Mumbai, even a Hyderabad to a certain extent, and Chennai, they have experienced captains, and like when things get a bit fuzzy, they'll still keep it calm. We saw Warner, yes, they lost today, but when there were two tight games, he kept us calm, and they won. And same thing with Rohit Sharma, same thing with Dhoni. So, do you think that's also an issue? Or is it, or am I looking too much into it?
Uh, mm, it's a fair call. I'm not saying anything, but I just feel like Kumble is not the kind that messes around in the field as much. Ponting has made it clear that this is his team and he's running the show. But
Yeah.
Kumble sits in the back. He's really never sitting in the front and trying to like wave his hand around and stuff like that. Maybe he's giving him some sort of instructions beforehand, and then KL Rahul is trying to execute that only and really not. Maybe kind of
Yeah,
maybe
that's what
making
I'm
a spur
saying.
of the moment
Yeah,
decision.
yeah.
It's possible, no doubt about that. It's possible. uh, but if they want to continue to win, sometimes in the what is happening in the ground, I mean, you have to just try to work with that. It's just very important to do that. Yes, he'll learn with experience, but I think that he's a very good player, and he's an inexperienced captain. But if Punjab wants anything, they need to stick with him for 2-3 years. Just give him enough time to like get into the groove of things, and then maybe he wins or something for you. But it's a little bit unfair because his first world tournament as a captain, he's never captained anything before. It's really his first tournament as a captain. There's a lot riding on him, on his shoulders. He is wicket keeping. He is He's running around. Did he wicket keep today? Or was it Puran? I think he wicket kept today. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
So
But
it's just a lot
also
riding on him.
also he probably doesn't have a leader in the team. Like Maxwell is not the leader that you like. I mean, he's an experienced player, but
Yeah,
like Rohit Sharma has a Pollard, Warner has a
yeah,
Williamson.
yeah.
Uh, so I think he doesn't have like an experienced
Someone
guy
to
with.
fall back
Yeah,
on.
I
Yep,
think that also is probably an issue because it's okay to
I
be a
agree.
young captain, but you probably need somebody to help guide you on the field as well.
Experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have kept Ashwin. Maybe not kept him as captain, but they should have kept him in the team. It would have
Yeah,
been made
yeah,
helped his.
we saw Ashwin doing the talk yesterday. Like when Delhi were
Yeah,
going out to field, he was talking and he's giving Iyer advice. So something like that will help. Not
yeah,
saying that that's what's needed for success. These are just things we're looking at because they lost.
yeah, yeah,
So maybe there's something here and other. We're gonna always dissect issues, right? Like it
yeah.
might not be the main problem, but
Correct, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I feel you have very valid point. I don't think he has someone who's helping him out in the field. That's really needed
yeah.
because Anil Kumble is able to come in only twice a match, right? Once in the ninth over, once in the 14th over, and for 2 minutes. There's only so much you can do. Sometimes you just have to make a spur of the moment decision and try to like work something out, and that's not really happening. So there's definitely that to think about for sure. And Punjab really needs to turn around quickly, otherwise this could run away from them quickly.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think we wrapped up all the points there. Insane double header today. Tomorrow we're back to one game.
The
Uh,
man of the match for thing
oh yeah, I'm sorry about that.
would be Faf and Watson, I think, just with the
Yeah.
way they kind of just went about
They
business.
yeah, they asked Watson, will you split? Would you split the check? He's like, yeah, I think.
It's only fair.
Yeah, it's only fair. I probably got it because I'm older, but it's fair to split it. But yeah, definitely because 170, like I said, was a competitive score, so
Yeah.
they made it like a cakewalk.
Yep. Absolutely.
So and yeah, and then moving on, wrapped up the points for that. Moving on, tomorrow is one game, single game, RCB versus Delhi Capitals in Dubai. I'm just checking the venue is very
Yeah.
important in
It's
this
very
tournament.
important. I agree. I know. I'm checking the venues too now every game.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, RCB like going crazy, man. I called it that last game. I think Chahal is a lot of aspects, but Chahal has been amazing for them. They're Padikal taking a lot of pressure off the top order, but they're coming up against a very strong Delhi side. So how do you see this game panning out?
yeah, this is going to be a fun game. This is going to really test the likes of Bangalore, who started off well, but they've had issues. This Bangalore team has had issues. There's no doubt, there's no denying that. It's 2020. Things are moving differently. Bangalore is taking some luck in that favor for the Arabs, basically. But
No,
but
definitely. I think I mean, in terms of the main convincing win was against Rajasthan yesterday. But apart from that, there were some there were a lot of flaws in the games they won as well. But I think that Rajasthan
I
game will
agree.
give them a lot of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely that Rajasthan game will give them confidence, but there are still issues that this Delhi team can decipher. The only thing is, I hope that Delhi doesn't go and try to play Sharjah kind of shots again in Dubai, because that's not the kind of pitch it is. Shreyas Iyer will not get 80 of 30 in the next game. It's not going to happen. They have to be realistic about that and then just go about their business. And I think Delhi has more confidence and more skill overall as a team to be able to beat this Bangalore side, which have a couple of issues. They've definitely worked on improving it, and this is a good Bangalore side that is being coached well now. For sure, you can see like the likes of Udana coming in has helped. Zampa's bowling well. He's supporting Chahal. Chahal has been immense. The likes of Padikal is amazing. Shivam Dube and Washington Sundar suddenly look like your finishers in the bowling and the batting department. Bowling, Washington is giving you those overs. Shivam Dube scored a few runs in the last game and stuff like that. So suddenly this team is looking like it's coming together, which is nice for a Bangalore fan to see. But I think Delhi is a stronger team on paper and have shown that in the field as well. They have very experienced bowling. That is what is going to be very important. I think the likes of Ashwin, the likes of Rabada, Narje, Amit Mishra, these guys have been bowling very, very well. So that's going to be a good challenge for Bangalore to really encounter. If they can come out on top in this game, I think they'll continue to start being favorites. They can suddenly make that top four. I have not predicted them in my top four. So it's hard to see, but man, it's 2020. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think you got it spot on. The Delhi bowling is I like to look at, but I also feel the batting, like you said, like they need to adjust to the ground and play
Yeah,
sensibly. But the bowling is probably what will win them the game if they win.
yeah,
A very interesting battle: Nokia versus AB de Villiers. I think
yeah,
that's going to be the
absolutely.
battle to look out for because
Yeah,
Rabada got hit, but Sharjah is Sharjah, so we'll give him that. But I
yeah,
feel those two fast bowlers versus Kohli and AB
yeah.
it's going to be a very interesting battle. Whoever wins that battle can tip the favor into their side.
Absolutely, and with Virat coming back in form last game, I think that really helps this Bangalore team. This Bangalore team now just looks completely ready for the next leg. Uh, Padikkal's form is, I think, the most important because a lot of, I mean, Virat and ABD have been doing it for 10 years now, but there was no support for him. And now with Padikkal
Exactly.
giving him support, that
Yeah.
really helps this team.
Yeah.
Uh, if Padikkal slumps a couple of games, that's going to be an issue. But I think I think that Bangalore looks ready, but I just feel like Delhi's bowling is so strong right now that they might just come up with the goods. Uh,
You-
it's going to be a fun battle. I mean, it's just going to be a good game to watch. I mean, after today's somewhat one-sided games on both sides, it'll be some fun to see a nice tight game. That's what I want to see. So
Yeah, for sure. And your prediction for the game? You're going Delhi.
I'm going Delhi.
Yeah, and just the players to watch out from each team.
um, I want to see how Pachahal continues. If he can continue that kind of form that he's been in, I
I
just
think
want to
for
see
him, Washington Sundar is helping him a
a
lot
lot,
because
a
Chahal
lot.
has always been good. I think in the IPL he's always been good. Even in the
Yeah,
Chinnaswamy, he was getting the ball to turn.
yeah,
But so Washington Sundar tightening things up now.
yeah.
He's being able to get more wickets at the other end.
Yep.
Uh,
And they've got that bowling unit together,
Yeah,
which is
that's
and
very
it's
important
working. It's
because Chahal
working.
has always been high quality, especially in the IPL. I think he's always been quality bowler,
Yeah,
but he never got any backing.
support.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I agree. And the likes of Udana and Navdeep Saini stepping up as the fast bowlers,
for sure.
Zampa and Washington Sundar kind of giving them that support in the spin department. So these are five decent bowlers who are doing a pretty decent job,
Yeah.
and they have Shivam Dubey as a backup if needed. Like so that's a proper six bowling team that you have, and your batting is performing, your bowling is performing. This is Bangalore team is looking good. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
yeah, for sure. I think
But
tomorrow will be very interesting. If the
yeah,
whatever the result, it'll be interesting to see. We'll also get a guide to the top four because we're getting. I mean, we're getting into the tournament now. So
yeah,
I think whoever wins tomorrow will have a good chance in the top four because they'll have, I think, around 3 or 4 wins. Four
yeah.
wins, I think. So it'll have them. And your team player to watch out for in Delhi?
I think Prithvi Shaw, I think it's very important that these guys get off to a good start, whether it's chasing or going first. I think if he can give them that momentum and that platform to really finish the innings quickly, well, that is very important, I think. And because the bowling, we know that this is a good bowling unit in Delhi. They will they will hold their nerves and get you whatever is needed. But you need that support from the batting unit. I think Prithvi Shaw is very, very important tomorrow. If he can really get off to a flyer like he did in Sharjah, that's a different situation, a different ground. But if he can continue to do well like he has been, I think both of them, I think Shaw and Dhawan, if they can get them off to a good start and lay the platform for the middle order, I think that will be the difference, I think.
For sure. And before we close the show, any last thoughts?
No, like I said, I just want it to be a cracker of a game.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think we covered everything. We went into detail today because there's so many games to cover,
To
and
talk,
we
yeah.
missed you yesterday as well. But we'll be back to the single headers tomorrow. So I can't wait to wait for that. So see you
Yep.
then, and take care.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.